Got the black and white out. It's $2.84 a gallon. Yay. I'm only getting half the fuel mileage, but don't really care. So, if you've been following this channel on this black and white Crown Vic I got, I've been throwing emissions codes, and they've been being thrown for quite a while, and it's time to get them fixed. It's the EVAP system in the back, and it's been just a complete pain. In fact, it's performance robbing and the whole ordeal if you really want to get technical. But I finally broke down and bought a EVAP system. When I get back to the house, we'll plug it into the scanner and I'll show you. But it's you know, the fuel door and the check engine light. Usually when I've already swapped fuel caps and tried that whole deal and all that, but usually what ends up happening is when you got a bad EVAP system and it's not letting this thing vent like it's supposed to, it's clogging, it'll throw that, and then I've already run that, which I'll show you when we get back to the house, that's what that is, the evaporative system. Still haven't fixed the AC in the car yet, so it's a nice cool morning, so I have to run up to the junkyard to go pull something out of a Crown Vic up there for the other project I'm working on. But aside from that, I got to get up there, get this one part I didn't get the other day, and then get home and we'll put this on. So hopefully it doesn't take too long. So we'll get done here at the junkyard, and I'm gonna head back to the house and we'll get this put on. So pretty much ever since I bought the car, I've been dealing with this EGR problem. The problem is that these are police cars. They sit there and they idle, and they idle, and they idle. New cars with emission systems were not meant to idle. They were not meant to idle at all. Sorry about that. So what happens is they don't get a proper clean out for their emission systems, and all the things get trapped up in the catalyst, the EGR, and the particulate filters. So the catalytic converters are designed to burn all that stuff out once it's been cycled through the EGR, and the whole thing does. Remember the old days of smog pumps and crap like that. But what this is also part of it, but it's the exhaust gas, it's recirculated EGR. This is the EVAP system. It's underneath the trunk, and I'll show you what it is. It's this thing right here, and this will give you some codes and whatnot. It's pretty easy to fix. I have a new one, so I have to figure out how to get this one off. This is basically your evaporative system here. I was told it had a charcoal canister in it. I don't know how it works. I'll have to look it up real quick. But let me show you the codes, which led me to believe this. So we have our plug. Sorry about the beeping. We'll plug this in under the dash in your OBD2 port, and I'll have to turn the car on. Stop beeping. I don't like you that much. There we are. So it starts doing a diagnostic, and then we just kind of got to wait for that for a minute. There we are. See, sensor signal bank stuck lean. It's an O2 sensor. That's just easy. O2 sensor, evaporator system leak, fuel cap loose, off. When the system starts plugging, it throws a fuel cap code, because I think it pushes up enough pressure and opens it up. Exhaust insufficient detected, EGR. I've been driving this a really long time with all these codes, so most of these are just because of that back there. Heater resistance, bank 1, sensor 1. Another evaporated emission system leak detected, fuel cap loose off. Gross leak, no flow, evaporated emission system leak detected. That's in the back. Exhaust gas recirculation flow insufficient detected. It's because that in the back. So it's basically that right there will throw quite a few different codes, and since I haven't deleted them in a while, and O2 codes are really popular. I mean, O2 codes will pop for anything. Bad gas will pop you an O2 code. So I have gone ahead and erased all the codes. Let me get this started. And we will scan. See if anything comes right back real quick. Alright, nothing's back. But if we start driving it, it will. So let's turn this thing off before the car gets too hot. And let's start in on that. Let me show you what I bought. The fact I'm gone all the time, I try to order it through my local O'Reilly's, but they wouldn't do it without me paying for shipping. I need that. Got to go in the house and get a key. So they wouldn't do it without me coming down and paying for UPS shipping and then ordering it in. Well, I'm on the road, so I got on Rock Auto. Much as I like to go down to my local O'Reilly's and just get the stuff, I went online, Rock Auto, and truthfully, I got the actual motorcraft part about $40 to $50 cheaper shipped, and it was still $25 cheaper than the Dorman part. So that was nice, except I had to have it shipped to a friend's house and wait because, well, nobody lives here. And Red lives on such a busy street that I won't have anything shipped to hers because it'll get stolen. So I just decided to have it shipped to a friend's house, and so we got it. Let me show you. Here we are. So pretty much, this is it. Plugs in, goes through here, through a charcoal filter, and back out. I was told you can clean these. I don't know how to clean them, and I really wasn't interested in learning how. But it pretty much just bolts right up. So let me get under here, and we'll figure that out. Now, before starting something of this nature, you probably ought to, if you have to and you're not sure, consult one of these. I like manuals better than I like the internet, mainly because I don't own a computer. You can just emissions and engines. So let me go find the section on this, and then we'll get it put in. The nice thing about these books is they actually have pages and pages of codes if you just need a quick look. So I like that too. Now it comes with warnings. On models with air suspension, turn the air suspension switch to off before raising the vehicle. On models with fire suppression system, disable the system before raising the rear of the vehicle by disconnecting the cable from the negative battery terminal and waiting at least 3 minutes. I don't have a fire suppression system in that, so we're good. Note the EVAP system on the 2002 and later models is complex, cannot be used for the blah 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 scan tool, blah blah blah. So basically what this is telling me is to take it to the dealer. That's not happening. So let me get some tools It looks like it's a 13 millimeter, so we'll start there. And while it doesn't seem like there's much to it, oh great, that's probably a 10 millimeter. It's always a good thing to just go over it once before you really start tearing it apart, just to make sure you have everything you need. So to do it on this car, you're going to need an 11 millimeter, which irritates me because, well, the car didn't come with an 11. Oops, sorry, it didn't come with an 11 and 3/8. It only came with 11 and 1/4 inch. So I went straight from 10 to 12. So we'll get the 11 off. You're going to find on these cars that they used whatever fitting came in that day. And the fact that these were all built up in Canada says a lot too. So that's why a lot of the fittings are all metric. That's part of it, but whatever. Let's get this off. So we got the old one out next to the new one. Now, this was riveted in, so to do it right, you probably might want to put those rivets in. I didn't show myself drilling them out. I didn't have a decent drill, so I used a grinder. That's not the preferred method. But we got this out, so now we have to swap the hoses around and make sure we got all the right hoses, and then put it back on. Gonna need to swap some things over, like this vent hose here that comes out of here. You're gonna need this piece here, so it's not gonna just pull out because it's all hard, so you have to slice it, but make sure you slice it on this side of the plastic fitting instead of this side, and you're gonna need to reuse that fitting, so be careful. Likewise, this had a fitting in it also, but I couldn't get it off the bottom of the car, so I had to pull this fitting out, and I had to cut this one too. This rubber gets hard over time, so let me slap this back together. I'll get it up in the car and show you where we're at. So where I marred up the frame or the bracket, I used a little bit of this, just metallic aluminum. It covers hard, so you just need something to cover it up. Because I used the grinder, I got a bunch of bare metal, so I just needed to cover it up. So let's show you here. Here it is on this side. You can see I painted it. Of course, I got it on this, so this ensures that even if this is bad, I can't return it. But it bolted in really well, and it's actually really tight. I think that's what those rivets are there for, to keep it from bouncing. I got a feeling this may have been changed once before, but it's got this little thing in here. I think it's to keep, whoops, sorry. Yeah. And then this goes to the vent, which just empties up into a hole in the chassis, and this goes to the tank. So make sure this is all in properly and secure, which I did. So I mean, seriously, this was all together with shipping to my front door was about $335. It's a little pricey, but when you gotta have it, you gotta have it. I was told there's a way to clean these, but as much as I've been dealing with catalyst systems and EGRs and particulate filters and all that stuff, especially with the semi trucks, usually when you clean them, you get one shot, and it gets you a little further down the road. And if you try to clean it again, it really starts coming apart. I thought about trying to clean this, but I wasn't going to. So this being a charcoal filter, I was told that you can put it on the inlet and, you know, blow a bunch of just basically circulate a bunch of brake clean through it. I didn't feel like that was a good idea with a with an EVAP system. Guys said you can do it, but truthfully, in the long run, just replacing the canister was probably the better move. If you got the money, fix it right. It'll last you a whole lot longer than, you know, you can spend $300 on this and fix it once, or over the period of a year, you're going to spend $300 on cans of brake clean. So, choice is up to you. But that being said, now that we got this in, I've got to fire it up and go drive it. So I guess we're going to take this thing to town. I'll tell you what, firing it up, it was a little rough there just for a second, then suddenly it idled up, it smoothed out, and it's running like it has never before. So it's obviously happy. So I'm running E85 in it right now, so it's a little stinky. So we'll get this thing on the road, and I got to head 2 towns over. So we'll see how she works. The only thing that's got me stumped are the rivets. They weren't even there holding it steady. They were just there. It may just have been something they put in to keep people from yanking it out. I mean, I put it in there and tightened it up. It is tight. It's snug where it needs to be. I think maybe the rivets were just something to keep people from stealing it, I guess. I don't know. But because as loose as they were, it wouldn't stop vibration. So I don't know, I'll have to look on that, but truthfully, it had rivets in it. I'm probably going to go find some to put back in. I say that, do I ever do it? But yeah, so far she's acting good. So I actually can't describe how happy the car seems right now. It is so much smoother and happier. The engine tone is better. So there's something to these emission systems, and when your car's tuned for them and they're running right, the car's happy. It is really happy. So I made it home, and it did pop a check engine light. So I plugged it in, and it still says it has an EVAP leak. So I plugged the scanner back in, and I'll show you here. Should be, there we are. Heater resistance bank. Need to look that one up. DTC. Whoops, wrong way. EVAP leak detected. So we're still dealing with that, and then so that's causing that. Something's still plugged. But other than that, I mean, the code I wanted to fix was fixed, and the car is actually running a lot better. It's really happy now. But I've still got a few things to deal with. Boy, it's hot out here. I need to get the air conditioner fixed. It's so, I mean, there's still emissions problems. So let me get this buttoned up here. Let's go inside where the AC is, and we'll finish up in there. I was planning on doing a video with this, but I hurt myself. My back out, and it's been real painful to get around, so I figured lying on the ground was one thing, but wrestling with that Oldsmobile is something completely different, so that'll have to wait for another day. So we're inside with the AC. It's getting a little warm out there. And like I said, I've been wanting to do a whole lot more on the car, but my back's going out. I know why. It's just, I got to take care of myself a little better. It went out about 2 months ago, and it ain't been right since. But we checked the codes in the book and looked them all up. For one of the codes is a throttle position sensor. It's a little off, and that's easy to fix. The other one is it says it's got an EVAP. It's got a vacuum leak. And one was a 401 code here, and I looked it up. And EGR low flow, check vacuum supply and valve operation. So the EGR itself might actually be bad. But then I go down here and look at the other code, evaporative control system, large leak detected. So chances are that we've replaced the the EVAP itself. The EGR might be bad too. This is what happens when you defer maintenance. The car, if the thing runs, they just clear the codes and it's good to go for now. But the EGR probably needs to be replaced. Am I going to replace it? I don't know. I'm going to look at it and see if it's something I want to tackle. They're not that expensive. And truthfully, excuse me, if you saw it, these are something you can fix really easy. The code scanner was a little pricey, but you can use it on any car with an OBD2. So it does help take the guesswork out of it. And truthfully, everything I've done here, I've done with a cheap set of tools. I thought about doing a video about that, but you get it. I mean, none of us are swimming in money, and a lot of these things that I keep talking about wanting to do is because there's just not time or there's not money. This stuff is expensive. And you kind of have to keep that in perspective when doing this. I gave, like I said, with shipping and everything, $335 for that unit underneath the car. Did it make a difference? Absolutely. The car's running great. It actually was really running great. Now also, before I go, I'm going to tell you the one thing. You're still running a little clogged, but now that the system is running better, I put a bottle of, well, we got BG products here in Wichita. We're pretty big. There's a thing called 44K. It's like sea foam on crack. It's great stuff. It cleans out your whole system really well. And it's designed to remove carbon. So before I go too crazy and replace the EGR, the fact that it was clogged and everything was backing up, I'm going to go ahead and clean the system out once or twice, and then before I change the EGR, because it could still be plugged because of that. I mean, if you picked up the new EVAP system versus the old one, there's a very serious weight difference. That one is just full and plugged. But aside from the 3 rivets in it, it took, if you had a good drill and you could just pop them out, it quite literally would only take you 10 minutes to replace this. Something you can do yourself. So, and what tools did I use? I used an 11 millimeter deep well. That's it. That's all I need to take it out. I had an electrical solenoid, popped that out, and undid the lines, plugged it back in, boom, bing, bang, boom, it's good to go. So, this is something you guys can do yourself if you really want to. Get yourself a good code reader, running about 185 bucks. Don't get the cheapest one, but you don't need to get the most expensive one either. I've talked about that before. So, anyhow, that's just basically replacing the EVAP canister. These cars is a little crazy, so anyhow, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. You know, don't be afraid to try this out yourself. This is the first time I'd ever done this on this particular thing myself, and it was a lot easier than I thought. Had a manual, I had an idea, watch a video, do a little bit of homework before you do it. You're going to find out a lot of these things on these cars is a lot easier to fix, and you can save a little bit of money doing it. I mean, yeah, you paid for the parts, but 10 minutes later, a shop's going to charge you a 2-hour minimum. That would have been close to $1,000 in a shop. So, food for thought. So I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next video.